Hey, Planeswalkers, hope you're doing well and staying safe. Welcome to today's episode of Weekly Friday Night Meta. Very excited, all things here on the Multiverse, where we break it down with the best top decks for you and what's happening in the Magic the Gathering arena metagame. So very excited about that. Now, first off, happy holidays and Merry Christmas Day Eve. It's yours truly, MetaMaster Mythras here, bringing you all things what's happening here on the Multiverse today. So Planeswalkers, appreciate you tuning in. Flip me a like if you enjoyed today's video. If you have a question, if you got a comment, let me know down below. Love to hear from you, or feel free to pop into the Discord server. That information is available to you in the details, along with today's timestamps, where we will break down Standard, we'll break down Historic, we'll break down Alchemy. We'll also take a look at Historic Brawl and take a look at some of the key events that happened over the past week, setting us up for the future here. So very excited about that, and do a little bit of a retrospective outtake as we always do. So hang in there. Or feel free to flip to the section that you're interested in, but appreciate your time. Flip me that like. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for this weekly series and a ton of other stuff that we have going on here. Appreciate your support as always. Thank you to the patrons and YouTube members. You got a lot of great things for you too. So with that, Planeswalkers, let's go ahead here and take a look at what's happening. So Standard best of one currently at an aggregate. This is what we have going on. Mono white aggro, mono green stomping, mono red goblins starting to make its way up there a little bit more in terms of popularity as well as win rate. When we look at the broad meta space here, in terms of the broad atmosphere. So I'll move over there. We got Orzhov control and dimmer control as well. And as it turns, you can see how things have moved. We've had a huge jump here again. In mono white aggro, about 4 or 5%, which is pretty huge. We've seen mono green stompy pulling back up, and then mono red goblins, like I said, also moving up. Most everything else is kind of falling off in terms of space. Mono white aggro again getting a big jump. Green stompy doing well, and then that mono red popping up. Then we do have dimmer zombies kind of coming back up as well in terms of what's happening there. We're going to go ahead and look at the competitive scene here in best of one, see how things shake up. We got Gruul werewolves popping in there, dimmer control not doing so hot. Again, similar style here in terms of what we're seeing, win rates, as well as the meta. Now I'll go through and break down each of these tiers for you so that you can see them. You certainly can come back and take a look at what's going on in this space, but we do get things like Gruul Landfall or other interesting decks that begin to show up in some of these other tiers, which is always important to understand because we want to know what we're playing. Platinum, let's get into Diamond, and then ultimately let's see what's happening in Mythic here in terms of best of one as we begin to close out the season. We got Jeskai turns in there, a different one that's not necessarily in the broader meta, and then also Azor's Control. So those are two key decks to keep an eye on. We also see that Gruul Werewolves there doing well, and a bunch of other things jumping around. So we'll blow this back out. Let's go to best of three here and take a look. So best of three right now, this is what that looks like. Mono green stompy, mono black zombies, mono black aggro, so a little bit different. Again, this is more that control. Is it dragons? Is it turns? Mono white aggro, the John midrange deck, and then dimmer control. And you can see mono white aggro really holding things down, followed by mono green and is it turns. Certainly being the three most popular, and we can see that here. Very, very powerful. Lots of happenings here at the top end. And then mono green stompy win rates really starting to come back up. So let's get out of the aggregate. Let's look at the competitive scene. We see a couple things twist around here in the middle section. Again, everything else is pretty much the same. Again, we'll do that drill into each one of these here for you. Most of the time, as we always see, it picks up at gold. So you can see a few things there at gold. We got Rakdos Vampires in there as well. So let's go ahead and move into platinum. There's platinum for us. We got Grixis turns showing up. Orzhov Clerics there. Then we get into diamond. There's diamond for us. Orzhov Clerics dropping out. Last but not least, in Mythic. So biggest ones being played, mono green stompy, mono black zombies. Is it dragons, mono white aggro, and is it turns? All right. So that, my friends, is the conclusion of Standard. We are going to go into Alchemy here. And we will go to best of one. So best of one Alchemy being dominated right now by mono red dragons. Second, mono green stompy. We got Orzhov Clerics there. Boros Dragons, Azor's Control, Esper Party, Rakdos Vampires, and Gruul Werewolves. You can see Esper Party, Mono Red Dragons, Gruul Werewolves, and Azor's Control really taking up the top. We can see some of these trends going on here. Again, Esper Party starting to come down. See Mono Red Dragons really picking up in that meta space, and Gruul Werewolves kind of coming back down. You can see the win rates here. Mono Red Dragons doing really well relative to everything else. That Azor's Esper Party deck had started off very strong out of the gate and is not doing as well. Let's look at the competitive scene. So we'll move to Platinum here. Platinum, we got Mono Red Dragons, Mono Green Stompy, Azor's Control, Boros Dragons, Orzhov Clerics, Esper Party, Rakdos Vampires, and Gruul Werewolves. So pretty similar. Again, look at what we have going on here. Pretty similar again as well. So let's drill into each of these because that's going to be important. Again, as we always like to say, additionally with Alchemy, we expect more players in the competitive space because that's where we've seen it before in the past. Mono Black Sacrifice popping in there as well. Let's go look at Platinum. There's Platinum moving around. Then we're getting into that real competitive scene here, and we get to Diamond. Diamond's a little bit different. We got Green Stompy, Azor's Control, Orzhov Clerics. And then last but not least, when we get into Mythic here, this is what we have. Dominating Mythic. Azor's Control is pretty tight with Mono Red Dragons, Boros Dragons, Esper Party, Gruul Werewolves, and Mono Green Stompy, my friends. So that concludes Alchemy Best of 1. Let's go ahead now and we're going to take a look at Best of 3. So there is a lot more game data starting to come out here, which is great. Boros Dragons, Mono Red Dragons, Mono Green Stompy, Mono Black Sacrifice, Gruul Werewolves, Rakdos Vampires. We see an Izzet Control here. You can see how this stuff's going across, and again, Sacrifice being one of the more popularity over time decks, as you can see in terms of the meta and out the gate. And then you can see how everything else is moving. We see Boros Dragons still having the best win rate, actually consistently all the way across, fighting with Mono Green Stompy and Mono Red Dragons for that second spot there. Let's go ahead and look at the more competitive scene again. Looks the same. Let's go ahead and we'll drill into each of these tiers for you. Again, expecting nothing really until we maybe get here. It's all at the competitive top end. Makes sense. Mono Black Sacrifice 50% there. Let's get into Diamond. So it's all best of 3 here. Oh, no data available, so not enough. So we did see at least an aggregate where that was, which is very helpful for us. So something to keep in mind as you queue up for best of 3 now. Again, that hasn't been heavily played, but good to see players are starting to get in that space. Next, we have Historic. What's happening in Historic? Selesnya Scroll Twins still killing it here. Mono Green Elves, Red Aggro, Azor's Auras, Izzet Phoenix, Selesnya Angels, Golgari Food, Jeskai Control. We see Selesnya Twin being at 12% deck, followed by Green Elves and Izzet Phoenix and the works there. So huge jump again in Squirrel Twin being played kind of midway through the season so far. So that's a big one to pay attention to. You can see everything else kind of being pretty similar. Mono Red Aggro doing well. You can see the win rates, Selesnya Squirrel Twin, Green Elves doing very well there in this space. Now let's go to the more competitive scene. Here again, pretty close to what we saw before. Couple little shifts, but again, Mono Red probably picking up a little bit more so than anything else. Selesnya Squirrel Twin just crushing it. So let's go ahead. We'll look at the tiers. Again, similar style here. It tends to be a little bit more competitive. Good that we're seeing a couple of these decks. Let's look at gold here. There we go. We got Golgari Food, Rakdos Arcanist popping in, Mono White Life Gain popping in here. Then we get into Platinum. Platinum's got a little bit of a shift. Just got Control popping in. Then we get to Diamond. Diamond, we got a few movements here at the top end. Rakdos Arcanist and Azor's Auras not doing well. And then we get to Mythic. So Mythic, we got Azor's Auras taking it down, which is pretty interesting to see. We got Mono Red Aggro. We got 5-color Dragonstorm popping in there too. Pretty heavy win rate. And you can see how much is played Squirrel Twin at 20%. So pretty impressive. All right, so let's blow this out. That's best of 1. We want to see best of 3. Here's where we're at for best of 3 today. Golgari Food taking it down. Selesnya Squirrel Twin, Azor's Control, Rakdos Arcanist, Izzet Phoenix, the 5-color Niv, Selesnya Humans, and Gruul Shamans. Azor's Control being one of the most played decks actually, and then Is It Phoenix, then Rakdos Arcanus. We can see huge uptick straight up for Azor's Control here. In terms of what we have going on in the meta, a good hard counter, I'm assuming, to Golgari Food, or a decent counter to Golgari Food, and then Is It Phoenix. So we can see the win rates here. Golgari Food still having one of the best ones, and everything else there. So as we move up to competitive scene, we got a few things moving around. Golgari Food, Rakdos Arcanist. Big to see that. Let's go ahead and look at each of these tiers as we always do. We have at gold starting to show up with Is It Phoenix. Then we get the platinum. Platinum's got a lot more. Rakdos Arcanus doing really well. We got Azor's Affinity in there, John's Sacrifice, Jeskai Control, Selesnya Humans, pretty diverse group there. Then we get to Diamond, Azor's Affinity there, Azor's Auras, a few different things. Rakdos Arcanus being one of the most played. Then we get to Mythic, we see Is It Phoenix, Azor's Auras, John's Sacrifice, 5-color Niv, Azor's Affinity, and then Selesnya Humans. So let's go all the way out. So that concludes our historic take. Last but not least for this week, we have historic Brawl. So Halana and Alina partners taking it down. Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. We got Nicol Bolas Dragon God popping in there for our lovely newcomer here for this week for historic Brawl. Synthis, Yorok, Azika, the first silver, and then Tier Grid as well popping in. We can see some of the popularity here. Kennan's still doing really well. You can see everything else kind of moving around, which is great. And then win rate here with Halana and Alina, which has been very strong there, my friends. So that is and concludes the data dump for this week in terms of standard Alchemy, historic, and historic Brawl. We're going to go ahead and move into some interesting key events from this week. First off, we have 500 cash G Tour MTG Arena Duel. Now this one was free. We have, what do we have? Almost 160 players in this. And this was standard, my friends. So let's take a look. Mono White Aggro took it down. Again, we saw a huge pop in Mono White Aggro. This has been a very popular event, at least as of late. Then we got Jund mid-range doing very well there. Esper Tempo, Mono Green Aggro, Sultai mid-range in there. And Is It Control List, and then a lot of the other stuff, Team Werewolves. So pretty cool to see that. Congratulations to our friend, the last beta there, in taking down that tournament with Mono White Aggro. Next, we actually have an Alchemy tournament by Black Pearl. So this was one of the tournaments that they did. We got 50 players in this one. So pretty cool to see. Taking it down, we got Sergio Pinaza. Well, let's go top 8. Rule Tempo. Oops. We'll go back. Overall, Sergio with Azor's Control, Mono Green Aggro, Gruul Tempo, Esper Clerics, Mono Green Aggro, Boros Dragons, Esper Clerics. So kind of a good wide range of what we're seeing here, which is great in terms of what's happening here for Alchemy, which is really cool. So that's got some fun, interesting information for us there too. So one of the first tournaments maybe we're looking to do it on the multiverse, so stay tuned on that here as well, my friends. All right, so back at it again to close out this week. Lots going on. We've been going through the decathlon. 3 tokens so far, so that's at least 1 entry for Cube. Very excited about that. Additionally, again, my friends, happy holidays, happy Christmas Eve here today, and looking forward to the rest of the holidays here, and getting some time just to unwind a little bit, eat some food, and be merry at the very least. So and open some gifts. Watch the kids open some gifts. So with that, Planeswalkers, thank you as always. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Again, if you got a question, if you got a comment, let me know down below. You can always hop in the Discord server. A lot going on there. Lots of great folks helping out. So thank you. Additionally, feel free to flip me a like for today's video if you enjoy it, or just because it's Christmas holidays here and other holidays. Otherwise, just do it because it's a good thing. Anyway, last but not least, don't forget to click that sub button. Love to see you some more. Appreciate the support as always, my friends. On top of that, thanks again to YouTube members and patrons. Stay safe out there. We got a lot more stuff coming here on the multiverse. We got top decks for standard, historic. We'll get some jank in there. We got alchemy. We got a whole host of things. Best of 1, best of 3 that we show. Stay tuned for the decathlon stuff. And we got fast facts and Friday night meta. And last but not least, our tier list. So with that, Planeswalkers, we'll see you again soon. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas Day Eve. And until next time, Planeswalkers, Mythras out.